Hi everyone, my name is Adrian Otto. I'm from Rackspace, and I'm the PTL of the Solum project, and I'm proud to show you a live demo today of the Solum software. Solum is a software project that we announced in October of 2013. And the reason why we wanted to build this is to fill a gap in the OpenStack ecosystem to make it easier for OpenStack to use for application developers. We think it's important that users of OpenStack want to run their applications. We want OpenStack to be their first choice for where they run their applications. In order to get there, we think it needs to be really easy to run. So what we did is we looked at what already is in OpenStack. We looked at all the software that was out in the market. We decided that customers telling us, we don't want to run a whole pile of it in addition to what we're already running in OpenStack. We just want additional functionality in OpenStack to make it easier for us to use. So Solum allows you to take from a source code repository your source code, build it, test it, deploy it, and then later manage it in a super fast deployment pipeline. It uses a Docker container to do builds. It uses Docker in Nova in order to deploy. So the build and deploy process can be very, very fast, and I'll be showing you that today. So we'll know we've succeeded when people tell us using Solum makes OpenStack very easy to use. So I'm going to show you code is going to come out of a Git repo. It's going to go into our build service. That build service is going to build a Docker image. That Docker image is going to go into the Docker repository. The Docker repository is backended by Glance. This is part of the Nova Docker driver. Once the image is in Glance, it can be sent out onto Nova, where containers are created by Heat. So we're using Heat to do the orchestration. We have a process by which we automatically build a Heat template in a component that we refer to as the model interpreter. So you're ready to see a live demo? Let's go for it. Okay, so this is the Solum web interface. Try to make that a bit bigger for you. Of course, this is a live demo, so I can't get back. Start over. I need my Git URL, which is what I'm going to get. Okay, so I have my Git URL. So Solum web interface. I'm going to say I'm going to create a new application. I'm going to put a Git repo URL into this modal, and it's going to go through what we call the build pipeline. The first thing that happens in the build pipeline is it takes the source code, checks it out of Git. Then it builds the source code using a Docker container in a contained build environment. The output of that is a Docker container, which gets stored in Glance. It's already completed this, and now it's in the process of running a Heat template, and our Heat template is deployed. So at this point, we should actually have a running application on the OpenStack cloud that is running locally on this laptop. So there's the application that we just created. We can click through to it. You can see this is a Ghost logging system. And this is for real. We could actually log into Ghost if we want to now. The goal of Solum is to, this is just the source to deployment workflow. We also want to make Solum able to manage your applications. So let's say, for example, you wanted to roll back one revision. That would be a one-button press to go ahead and roll it back to a prior revision. You can stop your app, start it up, but what's cooler is you can decide what environment it should be deployed into. So you might decide to automatically deploy into a dev or a staging environment, but then later deploy the same thing manually into a production environment. You can control your auto-scale behavior here. So if we decided we didn't want any more than, say, 8 concurrent instances, we can control that. And you can control how big each of the instances of that application in their Docker container should be. So now I'm going to show you the same process, but in a Git repository that doesn't have the little YAML file in that describes how to deploy it. So normally you would use let's go back to apps. Normally you would use a YAML file to describe how the application is actually laid out so that we know how to generate the right kind of heat templates so that it meets your expectations. If you don't make one of them, and you just say Git repository with no description file in it, so it's just a blank canvas where now you can use a drag and drop capability to say, all right, I'm going to go ahead and put out the application components that are part of my app and connect them all together. And the output of this is going to be this YAML description file that will inform our model interpreter how to generate the heat template so that we get the right resources deployed. So from this point, you would just redeploy again. So I hope you enjoyed seeing Solum. If you'd like to know more, the website is at solum.io. And let's make the cloud easy to use for developers. Thank you, everyone.